field, but also on the track. I'm Martin Gillingham, taking you through the last 90 minutes or so, and alongside me now, just moving in place of Tim Capel. You brought the rain with you, Tim Hutchings.
I think that's a trifle hot. Oh, I tell you what, yeah, it's pouring down here in the arena. You can't really see it now. You can.
25 laps of the track for these men in the 10,000 metres. The championship record held by a Finn, Matti Vainio, when he won this title in Prague in 1978. The European record, that the possession of Mo Farah, having run that time in Eugene in Oregon back in June last year. So there is the lineup, 26 athletes. Many of them finished behind Farah in the 5,000 metres. And just looking at the conditions, Tim, they will have a bearing on tactics here, won't they? Particularly if it is blowing down one of these straights.
Yes, they will have a bearing on tactics, certainly. But you know what? There's the opportunity there for those who are strong of will and spirit to take advantage of really grotty conditions like this. It's no fun chugging round 12 and a half laps in a 5,000 in rain with the track very, very wet. Never mind about 25 laps. But it's the same for everybody. And I think athletes that say, right, this is nothing to me, there's water off a duck's back, tell themselves that, give themselves the positive surge, will benefit.
Finn won this title when Helsinki hosted the championships 41 years ago. Juha Vartainen. And he won this 10,000 on his way to completing the long distance double, winning both the 5 and the 10. Has gone away, but it's still cold and it will be blustery in places around this track. 25 circuits, they're going to be out there for at least, I would have thought, 27 and a half, maybe 28 minutes, more likely in fact. When Abel Anton, the Spaniard, won the title, the same title here on this track 18 years ago, he ran outside 28 minutes, 28:06.
Olympic silver medalist back in 2000, behind the Pole I pointed out, who goes in this one. Don't discount him, despite his 35 years, Zielkowski.
So the first kilometre covered in about 2:57, so that's rather closer to 30-minute pace than it is 29. But it's Meucci, fastest man in Europe this season, with 27:32, wearing that white hat. He's off in front. Look out for Polat Kemboy Arikan, the former Paul Koskay Kemboy, now wearing the red vest there of Turkey. His roots, though. Well, Meucci still there in second place. Meucci picked up the bronze medal in this race 2 years ago in Barcelona. It's now Tassama Mugas of Israel who has the lead. She there in second place. In third place is Rocha, or Roca, one of the Portuguese. Arikan lying in fourth place. The Briton, good to see him there. Keith Gerrard, 28:27, his lifetime best. He now in fifth place.
What the quandary for a pack there, you get very busy and it's quite sapping, avoiding elbows and heels and spikes, and you're getting sprayed all the time. Of course, it freezes your legs. It makes everything feel a little bit slippy and uncomfortable. I can remember sliding.
Mugas out in front. He's run 28:12 this season, but he is making the pace and injecting a bit of speed, raising the tempo. Meucci, you can just see looking up there at the big screen. Turkey just switching out there, wearing the yellow and the red spikes, and he's putting in a bit of a kick here, is Arikan. And Arikan just looking across at the Israeli as if to say, come along and join me. Silva's covering the move. Gerrard of Great Britain is also there. Meucci in fifth place. Back to some help when he came down the home straight. 200 metres later, he's thought, well, nobody's going to come with me. I'm going to try and do it all on my own. And this is a very bold bid indeed. coming in towards the end of the third kilometre.
Well, I have to say, Martin, I'm a little surprised Meucci hasn't gone with him, because Arikan clearly trying to break away here, create that gap, get the others to settle down for the silver medals, but it's a very, very hard thing to do with another 18 laps on the clock, as there are at the moment. And in fact, you're
running together, and Arikan is showing, I suppose, a little bit of naivety, not comfortable.
Element of common sense to that. She's in the bronze medal position. She has a medal secured.
Well, 8:40 at 3,000 metres, so it's still run about 2:50 and a bit more a kilometre. It's not particularly quick at all at the moment in this 10,000 metre final, and Arikan still playing a few games at the front. Meucci there wearing that. And it's Arikan going to the front, upping the tempo, testing the men behind them, and it's certainly stretching them out. It's now about, what, 30 metres from front to back of the main group, and they're already 2 men off the back. One of them is Mark Keneally of Ireland, and I think the other may well be Jovempar the Finn.
And without much great strength in depth, it's slowish. The race pouring down again. The heavens have opened once more here in Helsinki, and they chug on through these laps. Still 15.5 laps to go for this field. Gerrard giving a good account of himself so far, but he needs to remain focused. They enter this middle section of the race. The kilometres have gone 2:57, 2:53, 2:51. Be interesting to see if there's a further acceleration here. That is quite a sapping way to experience a race, even if
the other Irishman in the field. Well, he's quite a long way back, but still in that main group. And it's Arikan out in front. Meucci there in second place. Silva is back in fourth place. It's Lamdassem, the Spaniard, towards the front as well. There's Meucci order as well, and that's Rybakov. So the pace at the front has just slowed a little bit, and we now have a leading group of 11. It also includes the Briton Keith Gerrard. So at the moment, so far so good for the one Briton in this field. So we're through 13 minutes in this men's 10,000 metre final. The first kilometre running 2:57. As you'd expect, the pace has been picked up a little bit, but still, it's not the fastest. Arikan, the former Kenyan, now competing for Turkey, has tried at various times to up the tempo. He hasn't had much help, in all honesty, but it's now Silva in front, starting to bend into the wind. Arikan is there in second place. Meucci, the European #1 this year, is there in third place. Rybakov of Russia hugging the curb in fourth. It's
Keith Gerrard doing everything right at the moment, Martin. He's back in what, about 8th place at the back of that group, just behind that red and black and yellow vest of the Belgian, one of the Belgians. And he's just got to hang in there now and be drawn clear of the rest of the field. Benefit from these guys doing all the work. Tuck in there. Really focus and dig in this middle section. Try and relax, but dig, because Keith is not a world-class runner. He knows that. He's never broken 28:27, but the pace isn't particularly demanding. The nature of the race is what is testing, because that fourth kilometre was 2:48. It has gone 2:57, 2:53, 2:51, 2:48, and they're at 2:52, the fifth kilometre, the first time it has slowed.
Doesn't, but it's stretching out, and Gerrard, well, he's only about 5 or 6 metres from the front, so it's going well at the moment for the Briton.
It is slowing. No, Keith, very well, I have to admit. Not seen him race a lot of times, but he's a good-looking runner, right up on his toes. Just got to try and stay relaxed and hang options, weighing up the opposition, looking at those around him, and what sort of shape they appear to be in, how they're responding to the surges that were being put in by Arikan earlier on. Gathering information and figuring.
Well, let's go through this leading group and identify them for you. Out in front, that's Arikan. Meucci wearing the blue of Italy. That's Silva of Portugal, lying in third. The two Spaniards there, Lamdassem, he's the first of them. Castillejo, he is the other.
Further metre or so down.
A little more than 3,600 metres to go. Arikan in front. Silva, the Portuguese, on the curb. Meucci there in third. Landasam is fourth. Rybakov in fifth place for Russia. Castillejo, the second of the Spaniards, in sixth place. There's a Dutchman there as well. That's Khalid Shaku. He's in seventh. Abdi is the Belgium, lying in eighth. Gerrard, the Briton, right at the back of that group of 9. And Gerrard now, well, he's being tested because Meucci, the Italian, the European #1, is kicking on to the front, and all of a sudden it's about 10 metres from front to back. And doesn't Meucci look confident there beneath the white visor? And Meucci, well, he's taking Arakan. And Castillejo, the second of the Spaniards there, back in fifth place. Landasam pretty much where he's been throughout, leading the Spanish challenge. Now it's Silva who slipped back just a little bit. Rybakov, the Russian, running on the curb. Abdi, he's had a busy week already. He finished 8th in the 5,000 metres. But Meucci, well, looking in charge.
And time Keith Gerrard beginning to struggle. He has indeed been dragged clear of the rest of the field. He's in 9th place, but he's 3 or 4 metres back off that group. He's got to dig in now, get back onto the back of that pack. It'll be so much easier to be moving at a few metres per lap faster if you're attached to other people than running on your own. Very, very difficult to be isolated in the latter stages of a 10,000, and with pace gradually taking its toll on you. A little glance over his shoulder there to write a picture. That's worrying for British viewers who want Gerrard to hang in there with this pack.
So inside the last 7 laps, and for the first time and it's Castillejo who finds himself 8th of that group of 8.
Good to see Keith Gerrard working away. He's now about 40 metres down, but he's still passing people. He's still running reasonably strongly. I think he's been running very realistically, frankly. He's not able to go with this group. He knows that. But he's running fast enough to stay clear of the rest of this field. And a placing in the top 10 would be a very good return for his efforts. But this is a significant surge from Silva Martin, almost single file for the first time in a few laps. But Meucci there still looking very comfortable.
Metric mile. It's now 1,400 metres remain. And it's still Arakan, who's been a bit twitchy all the way through this race. He was the first man who broke after that very slow first kilometre, which was run just a shade inside 3 minutes. He's been looking...
And they're almost moving out to lane 3 to get out of the way of this field. That's the courtesy you expect to be extended if you're coming through in a major championship final in the lead group. But and now it's about the time, Martin. We're into the final kilometre. Look, 9 kilometres there. They've just gone through 9k.
The last 2 laps, it's going to be one in a time that they were winning championship 25 lap races 40 years ago. In fact, they will come round and they will hear the bell, and they're all moving into position, and they're starting to run 3 wide. Who will be the first to kick? Arakan, Meucci just looking across. Rybakov is stuck there on the curb. Castillejo, the Spaniard, running wide. Landasam, well, he's between them. Right. Arakan, the shoulders, the head is rolling. Meucci still appears to have something to give, but look at Rybakov. Arakan kicks. Rybakov is the first to respond. Meucci, has he got anything there? The Spaniards have been dropped as well. The Belgian trying to find something, but it's Arakan, the former Kenyan, and look at Rybakov coming wide, and Meucci's coming back as well, but Arakan bravely hanging on. The former Kenyan's going to take it. Gold for Turkey. Meucci silver, Rybakov third. Abdi comes through in fourth. It's Castillejo fifth, as he was 2 years ago.
Indeed, yes. There's Keith Gerrard coming home in 9th place, I believe. He's hung on well, Keith Gerrard. He's had last 10 laps or so all on his own. Just a click under 29 minutes there for Gerrard. Very sound performance indeed from the Briton, in the absence of Chris Thompson and Mo Farah, of course. The best that Britain could put out on this particular night. That final